Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of AEW Weekly Wrap Up. I'm your host, Ethan Black, and today we're going to talk about the shows from this past week and also Ring of Honor, what and the upcoming stuff, and also some news. So we're going to go right into the news updates on Gates Agony and Lance Archer, who are still in Japan, compete in the New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League Tournament. Since we left off last week on Friday, December 1st, we'll start with Gates Agony this time and then move on to Lance Archer. So on day 10, this was B block of World Tag League. Gates and Eggy were in 6-man tag team match with Bolton Oleg. They defeated Night Empire's Calvin Newell, Gray O'Connor, and 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Then on day 11, they were in A block action where they lost to Gray O'Connor and Hinari of United Empire at 16 minutes and 18 seconds. So Gates and Eggy were still at 2 points, while United Empire moves up to 6. And then on night 12, they were back in 6-man tag team match. This time they defeat Cutie Kimia, Oscar Lube, and Ryan. Anyway, 6 minutes 17 seconds. Kids Agony had bolted Oleg for a second show on the tour. Then night 13, they were back in A block action where they move up to 4 points. But this was the final A block action. They defeat Cutie Kimia and Ryan anyway at 11 minutes and 34 seconds. So they ended their tournament at 4 points with 2 wins and 5 losses. Then on today's show, day 14, this is Thursday, December 17th, as I'm recording this, they were on an undercard 6-man tag team match where they deal with Yuta Nakashima. They lost to United Empire's Calvin Newell, Gray O'Connor at 11 minutes and 6 seconds. So that's Gates Agony. I don't know. They haven't announced the cards for the semifinals and finals, the semifinals for tomorrow's show and the finals show card for Sunday. But I'll talk about that on next week's news update. Now we'll go over to Lance Archer. We'll go back to day 10 where he was in B block action. As him and his tag partner Alex Zane, also known as Monsters Us, they lost to Minoru Suzuki and Eugene Naga at 10 minutes 23 seconds. So they stay 8 points. Then on day 11 on A block night, they were in 8-man tag team match where they team up Oscar Lube and Ryusuke Taguchi, where they lost to Los Incanal by state opponents Bushi, number Openweight champion Shingo Takagi, Yoshitsuji, and Sondak Jr. 11 minutes and 1 second. Then on day 12, back to B block action, where they lost to Yoshitsuji and Sondak Jr. at 13 minutes and 16 seconds. Then on day 13, that was December 6th. That was Wednesday. That was actually yesterday. An undercard, they team up Master Wild, they defeat Grass of Destiny at 7 minutes and 37 seconds. Then on today's show on B block, this is the final block action before we go to semifinals on December 8th. So basically, Monster Sauce, they had to defeat Grass of Destiny to take first place. If they lost, then that was their end of their tour. And they lost to the strong Opoi Tetris because the Elephant has a Hikala at 15 minutes and 15 seconds. So Monster Sauce ends their tournament at 4 wins. At 8 points, so 4 wins and 3 losses. And like I said, when I was talking about the Gates at Exy side, it will be next week when I talk about the Friday and Sunday shows. So that is the news. And then we're going to go over to the AEW portion where we'll start with Rampage from Friday, December 1st. An 8-man tag team match we had Danhausen, for Best Friends, International Orange Cassidy, and Trent Part 2 of Hookhausen, that's FTW Champion Hook and Danhausen. They defeat Angel Parker, Matt Menard, and Alex Rounds, even though of Dark Order, 10 minutes and 7 seconds. And trio session, Don Callis family, Kenosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Powerhouse Hobbs, defeating John C., Kit Saget, and Randy at 57 seconds. And women's trio action, Hikaru Shio, Chris Down, and Sky Blue defeating the Outcast, Rubiso, and Soraya, and along with Anna J at 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And the main event, and trios match for the men's side, El Hijo Vikingo, Pentagon Jr., and Khmer defeating Brian Cage, who was 1/3 of the regular 6-man tag teams. And the workhorseman, Anthony Henry, and Jay Drake, 11 minutes and 13 seconds. On that show, obviously, that one wasn't too bad. If I'd say match tonight was the workhorseman Brian Cage versus El Hijo Vikingo, Khmer, and Pentagon Jr. Then we go to AW Collision, episode 25 from Erie, Pennsylvania, at the Erie Insurance Arena. So the dark match for the show actually went live was Powerhouse Hobbs defeating Pentago. Then the Astro Show came on the air with the first of 3 Blue League Continental Classic Tournament matches. This is Brody King getting win over Claudio Castagnoli at 12 minutes and 34 seconds via Lariat. Abaddon defeating Kiera Hogan at 3 minutes 41 seconds via the Black Delilah. Our second Blue League action, Andrade El Idolo gets his first 3 points on the board defeating Diego Garcia at 11 minutes and 2 seconds via Hammerlock DDT. And tag match in the King was Matt Taven and Mike Band defeated R. Sanders Bowler and Bronson at 2.5 minutes via spike pile driver. It also in tag match the House of Black, Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black defeat Chris Videos and Matt Sato via Black Mass on Chris Videos at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. El Hijo defeat Kingo defeating Kip Sabian at 8 minutes and 3 seconds via 6:30. In the main event, the final Blue League match of the Continental Classic, Brian Danielson gets his first 3 points on the board by defeating Eddie Kingston at 16 minutes and 50 seconds for the Bicycle knee. So before I give the Blue League saying, so on this show, I say I recommend watching the Blue League action and House of Black versus Danielson Seidel. So from Blue League, we had Brody King in first place with 6 points, 2 wins, and no losses. In second place, Claudio Castagnoli with 3 points, but he has 1 win and 2 losses. And Andrade El Idolo and Friday also have 3 points, but they started, so they have 1 win and 0 losses. In last place, Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston have no points, had no wins and 2 losses. So they're basically the verge of being eliminated. And by the way, they did tape this collision coming up on Tuesday, which I'll talk about at the end of Dynamite review. By the way, there will be some spoilers, so if you don't want to hear them, you can just fast forward. And now we'll go over to AEW Dynamite from Wednesday, December 6th, from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So our opening match first of 3 Gold League action for the Continental Classic. Jon Moxley getting the win over Rouge at 14 minutes and 32 seconds by representation via Bulldog choke. Really fun match. I give this one a 7 out of 10. All right, these two just beating the crap out of each other. I mean, I thought Rouge had a couple. I do like Jon, but honestly, I kind of wish Rouge won that, but that I'm just nitpicking there. I do like both guys, but I kind of wish Rouge won. I mean, Moxley winning was kind of predictable. But like I said, this is a really fun match. This one's 7 out of 10. Then we go backstage. We see Renee Paquette is on stage. Brings up Roger Strong, the Kingdom, as Roger did ask for this time. He knows it's obvious that MJ will back Samoa Joe, but Joe's a big boy, have consequences, and Joe will put his hand on a hot stuff to a berm. So Renee asks, pardon me, if MJ isn't anything, so Strong calls her crazy, and he gets out of the wheelchair, and Matthew rolls her off the stage. And he said the wheelchair him back for far too long. I thought this segment was a little corny. I do like Roger on the Kingdom, but I thought this was a little corny. And speaking of MJF, we do go to after the commercial break, Renee Paquette is outside the locker room of MJF before we see him and Pitch walks in and see he couldn't fly for a couple weeks after his brutal Texas death match with Jerkwood on at Full Gear. And basically saying that the feud with him not over, and he took some for sure he never get back. So basically, he's talking about the blood spot as everybody's seen him. So are they gonna have like a spot, like another stipulation match, like a first blood or whatever? I think it might be a world's end, but honestly, I would hold off to like next year. But then MJF comes to say better, more STDs. Paige leaves, but MJF makes a dig about it, so they basically go back and forth. Force Mojo has to come out and separate both men because of that same. And Joe said we have stuff to worry about, not him. And then they walk away. So does Paige. Then our second match of the show, or another Continental Classic Gold League match. Swerve straight from Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe has to win, or he is mathematically eliminated. But Swerve automatically does that as he joins Jon Moxley in first place with 9 points, getting the win at 15 minutes and 44 seconds via Swerve stun. So due to Mark Briscoe losing, he is mathematically eliminated. I believe as of right now, yes, him and I'll talk about Jay Lethal in a little bit. Spoiler, they're actually the first 2 official guys to be mathematically eliminated. I'll get the Blue League when I talk about the Rampage stuff. This was my match of the night. I give this one 7 out of 10. But I like this one way better than the Rouge Jon Moxley. Not by much, but it was really fun. I mean, these two being the crap out of each other. I thought Swerve had to win a couple of times, like the house call kick and then the 450. I thought Mark had to win a few times with the Froggy Bow. Try to go for Jay Driller a couple of times. That doesn't happen. Mark, honestly, in the Gold League, he's been my MVP. I mean, he's just like torn himself up, giving out great matches, even though he has no points on the board. Honestly, I didn't really want 15 minutes till Justin Roberts said it did, but I thought this was so really fun. Like I said, this is my match of the night. And unfortunately, since Mark did lose, like I said, he is mathematically eliminated. So far, actually, I'll get Jay Lethal, but spoiler, they're both the first official guys eliminated. Then backstage, Renee Paquette is with Mariah May, and she asked her about her meeting with Tony Khan last week. She said to me, what as Khan watched her work in Stardom. So Renee asked her debut opponents, but Mariah says it's not her business, as tonight is all about Tony's daughter. She'll be watching her. Then we were supposed to get a tag match for AEW World Champ MJF Samoa Joe gets two masked men. So Joe goes down the ring and the lights go out. They flicker, and then there was like four masked men surrounding Joe outside the ring. Lights come back on. He's by himself, and we see Devil's face on the Tauntron before we see MJF led with a broken bottle backstage. So Joe runs out to go save him. Honestly, I'm kind of slowly getting sick of this Devil story. I mean, it's intriguing. But like that, not the Devil part itself. It's more like the corny match. I'm getting like aces and eights from Impact Wrestling and who's the other group I'm thinking of? Retribution for Dirty. That's who it was. But honestly, I'm not. That part I'm not a big fan of, but everything else, I'm pretty excited to see who it is. Anyway, back we see Jon Moxley. He says humble, and before God knows nobody knows exactly who he is. It was came up as Mexico 5-0 win the Continental Classic. So Swerve says he's got 9 points, so 80 split takes the win. And then Swerve says he'll see him next week. So that match, like so, I'll talk about the upcoming stuff after this, but that's the first match made official. Do we see Ben making Makey quits? I do apologize. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's from Turtle Class Music and hypes about Toni Storm for women's title match. And speaking of that, Toni Storm does defend the women's title against Sky Blue, first of 2 title matches, and Storm does retain at 9 minutes and 19 seconds via roll-up. Fun little match. I probably say this is one of Sky Blue's best matches in her AEW career. I did like the spot where Storm was on Luther's shoulders, and he helped her throw Blue into the post. But I thought this was a really fun. I give this one a 6 out of 10. After match, we hear the music of the return of Riho, and she goes after Toni Storm, but Luther carries Storm out. So I imagine that's probably going to be the World's End match, but we'll wait and see. And we go to our final Gold League match of the Continental Classic. Battle of the Jays here. Jay White versus Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is in the same boat as Mark Briscoe. He has to win or he's mathematically eliminated. And Jay White does eliminate Lethal with the win at 11 minutes 24 seconds via roll-up. This was okay. This was honestly, I would show this is probably one of the weakest things on the show, especially in the Gold League match. This was the weakest out of the 3. I mean, Jay White, I get it's kind of obvious that Jay White's going to go up 6 points. So, and by the way, Jay White does take the win in their series because they were showing Ring of Honor clips earlier in the show. But I give this one a 6 out. This wasn't bad, but out of 3 this was the weakest. But White, like I said, moves up to 6. Then remain the Battle of Canadians for the TNT title. Christian Cage retains the over Adam Copeland 18 minutes and 2 seconds when Shayna Wayne comes out and hits Copeland in the head with the TNT title, and then Cage steps on the neck of Copeland. This was actually a really fun match until that that spot. I was not a big fan of that Shayna Wayne spot. I mean, we all kind of knew it was happening because Adam Copeland hit a concerto on Nick Wayne a couple of weeks ago. So she was basically going mother mode. So that part, I get why she did it, but I feel like fans were to book this spot with a swerve. But like I said, this was actually a really enjoyable match until that. And so I'm going to give this match a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, quick 18 minutes, but the feud's not over. I imagine they might face off Revolution or maybe World's End, but honestly, I would try to hold off till Revolution next year. But again, like I said, this was actually pretty fun watch till the ending. The crowd actually went mid after that, and I can't blame them, but that was it for Dynamite. Overall score, I just want a 6 out. Not a bad. Honestly, the only matches I recommend from this show, basically the first 2 matches, Moxley versus Rouge and Swerve versus Briscoe. If I had to pick number 3, I'd probably say the TNT title match, honestly. So, standings after night 5. First place, Swerve Strickland John Watts tied with 9 points, 3 wins, 0 losses. Jay White in second place with 6 points, 2 wins, 1 loss. Rouge in third place with 3 points, 1 win, and 2 losses. So, Rouge is on the bubble. Basically, he can't lose anymore. He's out. And then Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal are eliminated with 0 points, no wins, and 3 losses. So, on tomorrow's Rampage on Friday, or Friday if this drops, Orange Cassidy defends the International gets in Helco. Abaddon versus Trish Adora. In tag match, Don Callis, Kinosuke Cash Powerhouse versus Chris Dios and Matt Sydal. And Brian also goes with Dale Garcia in a Blue League match, Condo Classic. But Garcia is 0-2, so basically if he loses, he's mathematically eliminated as well. Then Collision, this was taped on Tuesday, so the day before Dynamite, so I'm going to give you some spoilers if you don't want to hear fast forward. So Condo Classic match, Claudio Castagnoli with 3 points versus Eddie Kings with 0. Ethan Page versus Kenny Omega. Warlock versus Willie Mack. Will Nigo versus Mercedes Martinez. Pentagon Jr. and Commander versus Angel Parker Mamador in tag team match. And in bootleg, I'm kind of spoiler. You're going to hear Brian Nielsen goes to 6 points if he going one on Andrade Ulu, who has 3. The winter is coming on some special edition of Dynamite. 3 Gold League matches for Strickland and Jon Moxley battle at 9 points. So winner basically goes either, if we get the title of a draw, we get 10 points, or both men get 12, or one goes to 12. Rouge with 3 points for Jay Lethal with 0, and Jay White with 6 points for Mark Briscoe, and him and Page for Russia, and World's End. So far, only 2 matches, the finals on the Continental Classic, and MJF defends the World title against Samoa Joe. But that is the AEW side. And then we'll go to Ring of Honor. So we have Billy Starks v. Danny Mello, Don Castle gets one on Giant TV, Richard Ellery v. Nikki Victory, the workhorse of first team, that is Anthony Henry, GD Drake, defeating the Fairy Kyber, Sean Dean, Lee Frost and Trish Jordan defeating the Renegades, Robin Shaw in tag team action. First of 3 Survivor of the Fist TV title qualifying matches, Lee Johnson defeating Josh Woods, in tag match of the Righteous, Vince and Dudge, and Vincent defeating the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Our second of 3 Survivor of the Fist TV title qualifying matches, Lee Moriarty defeating Tracy Williams, semi-main event and tag team Butcher and the Blade defeating the Boys, Brandon and Brandon Tate tag team action. And then the third and final television title, Survivor of the Fist qualifying match, Kyle Fletcher defeating Gravity. So final battle is on Friday, December 15th, and the only matches made so far is the Fatal 6-Way. It's Survivor of the Fist match for the team. It's basically a Fatal 6-Way elimination match. Don Callis versus Commander versus Lee Johnson versus Lee Moriarty versus Kyle Fletcher versus one more to be determined. I think we'll defend the women's title against Bayley. By the way, we did find out on tonight's reward that they will be the main event of Final Battle. Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor. And then we got Ethan Page for starting. That will be an I Quit match. And a 6-man tag match, Jay Briscoe tribute match. Blackpool Common Club's Pure Chin Warrior and Brian Nielsen. And along with Jon Moxley to go against FTR, Dex, Harwood, and Catchware, and Mark Briscoe. So those are the only matches made official. But I'm your host, Ethan Bly. I'll be back next week. Tell the usual AEW Ring of Honor stuff. Have a good weekend and stay safe.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.